Hey everybody, it's Claire. Welcome back. I'm one half of the Ormewoods, and we are here in Zone 7B north of Atlanta in our suburban organic vegetable and flower garden. And we're filming our garden journeys every week for you guys so that hopefully we can learn from you, because a lot of you out there have great feedback for us, which we appreciate, but also so that if you're someone like us who's maybe not been agriculturally inclined or exposed to that, you could really be inspired to look at what you are able to do on not a whole lot of land. So thanks for being here. And today we've got a lot of fun stuff going on in the garden, so we'll just walk you through and show it. So I just wanted to show you, Dawn got some new trellising up for these tomatoes, and we've got little baby ones coming, but you may remember, if you're following along, that a couple of weeks ago we had tomatoes in that back raised bed, one of the newer beds, the ones that we had filled with the purchased potting soil, and they just were not doing anything compared to the Hugelkultur bed, and certainly compared to ones we had over here. So I went ahead and pulled them all up and transplanted them here, and they're doing much, much better. They're setting fruit, so I'm really, really glad we did that. So I'll kind of show you some pictures of that. So you guys, I wasn't expecting to show this to you, but we have a pumpkin, ow, whoop, that hurts. We have a pumpkin flower. And pumpkins take a really long time to mature. And so when we pulled up the potatoes, my gosh, 2 months ago, I put pumpkin seeds in the ground. We've got 4 plants, and of course they vine, so they're gonna take up a lot of space. I am hoping to have pumpkins in the fall, either for food purposes or just for decorative, because I think they're so pretty. So we'll keep you posted on how these sprawl out. Maybe they'll vine and just take up the whole potato bed and look very, very fallish. We've got 2 slicing cucumbers and we've got 2 pickling cucumbers right up here going up the trellis. And man, the bees love the yellow flowers. I mean, they're just constantly covered in the bees, which is great, right? Because we need the pollinators. But I also want you to see some of the pest damage. You know, we're organic, and we are really not wanting to use any, harsh chemicals, but this is the damage from a type of beetle. First started getting these, we thought they were ladybugs. And we were like, oh, that's so cute, we have ladybugs, they're beneficials. No, this does not have a black head, and quite frankly, the body isn't even really red, it's more of an orangey color. So if you're seeing something like that, really, really pay close attention to it. Ladybugs have black heads, and they are red. They are not orange or coral. This is not a beneficial. This is something that we need to get rid of. And since we are organic, our go-to for this point in our lives is neem oil. That's what we try to apply every 7 days during the height of the summer, just to kind of keep the pest pressure down. Hello from our Kahari melon plant. So this is a surprise tomato plant, you guys. We didn't mean to plant this. This is a volunteer. And I don't know if just seeds got blown around and it ended up here, or if it was part of our compost. And when we put our compost down, since we make our own dirt, if it didn't pop up. But we planted 2 David Austin roses that we wanted to climb up this tree. And then at some point we noticed this was not part of the rose that's right next to it. It's actually a tomato. And the reason that we know it's a volunteer is we did not plant this type of tomato this year. We planted them last year. And what it is it's a cherry tomato, but they're little and they look like Roma tomatoes. And they're really, really flavorful. They're really good. So it's now sort of intermingling and hanging out with our rose, which might be why our rose is having trouble blooming. But we sort of like to experiment and just learn and see what happens. So we decided we were going to let it stay, and we'll pull it up, at the end of the season when it quits producing, and hopefully the rose then can do its thing. All right, now let's go to the back side of the garden. These are the tomato plants that we originally planted in the Hugelkultur bed. There's even, look at this, I mean, talk about how resilient tomatoes are. This is a survivor, you guys. It has grown out of the raised bed. Now, it has not put on any fruit yet, but we're just watching it. But this is the plant. Let me see how the bottoms, okay, these bottoms look okay right now. This is the plant that we've been having the blossom end rot issues with. And because we're not having it everywhere, I really think, okay, see that? That's not ideal. I really think there's something going on over here at this end of the bed. Okay, and look right here. Oh, and this is a big one. I've been checking these every day. I'm just gonna pull this one off. I think at this point we might, see that right there? That's the beginnings of it. So, you know, we could pull them and they're green and have green tomatoes, which might be what we need to do. But you can see, you guys, we've got a bunch of tomatoes. Here's one that is starting to ripen. So this is what they call like first blush, which is when you can see the change in color. In theory, I really like things to ripen on the vine, but honestly, because we're having the issues with the blossom end rot, because we have risks with birds and animals, when they're starting to get this color, I go ahead and pick them and bring them inside because they can ripen on the countertop for the next couple of days. I really wanted you guys to see these cherry tomatoes. Do you see this color? This is Amy's Apricot. It's a cherry tomato. It's orange, not red, and it is like the best tasting tomato I've ever had. And a lot of people compare it to the Sun Gold cherry tomato, which I know is a super popular variety of cherry tomato. If you've grown a Sun Gold, then Amy's Apricot is similar. But I have been coming out here every morning and snacking on these, and unfortunately had to buy a grocery store tomato the other day and ate like a half of a bite and then had to spit it out. And I just threw the rest of the tomatoes I bought from the store into the compost. It just was so disgusting, and I was telling Dawn, I guess it's just I've gotten so used to having these delicious things every single day that it just tasted horrible, 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 horrible. So anyways, if you have not grown the Amy's Apricot or the Sun Gold cherry tomatoes, I would really encourage you to try it. The favorite tomato that we grew last year was the cherry tomato, which I was not expecting, and this year so far it's shaping up to be my favorite. Sorry, I shouldn't have put that in my mouth. I want to show you this. This is one tomatilla plant, you guys. All the way here, all the way over here, all the way back here. It's one tomatilla. I'm 5'4". This is about my height. There's not a single, hello little bee. There's not a single piece of fruit on it. You want to know why? Because tomatillas need 2 plants. At least 2, in order to produce fruit. And despite the fact that we planted 4 seedlings, for some reason, only one of them came up. Now this is that bed that has the purchased raised potting soil, raised bed. So it's not, when I say potting soil, that's wrong. It's raised bed soil, excuse me. So I should pull it out because it's not going to do anything, but I'm just so curious to see how big and massive it gets that I kind of want to leave it in. But it does mean that I sort of have to fight my way through it to get to our ground cherries. And I want to show you the ground cherries. They're called the ground cherries because when they're ripe, they fall to the ground. Can you see this? But they come in a little husk, and then you have a little fruit like that. It's a really weird flavor. It's like, kind of tastes like pineapple, kind of tastes like mango, has sort of the texture of a grape. If you haven't grown them before, I would suggest you grow them. I think they're really good, but it's not a flavor you can easily identify. And look at how massive, oh, see, it just fell to the ground. Let me get it. Oh my word. They're kind of fun. It's fun to come out to the garden and just pick stuff and eat it. That's one of the driving reasons that we want to be organic. Watch, there we go. Okay guys, so this is the other end of the Hugelkultur bed, and I just went to pull this one because as you can see, it's blushing. It's unfortunately, okay look, can you get up close on it? Do you see it's dripping? That is really gross. Can you get it? Y'all know I'm a big fan of disgusting things. So it's rotting. So I don't know if a bird got to it and it's rotting or if something else is happening, but I'm not gonna pick that right now. There's a big hunker back here, really big. It looks good. See, the bottoms of all these look good, but based on how many we've already had to throw out, I don't want to throw any more out. I think I'm going to start pulling them as green. And then look at this one. It is green. And then the tag that I put in said green zebra. So now I don't know if this is actually supposed to be a green. You see how it kind of has this stripe? Or if it's going to turn a reddish color. The reason that I don't know is we had so many seedlings not grow when we first got them out here, and so I just can't remember if I pulled that stick or not. In theory, this might be a green. Okay, look at the bottom of this one. I'm gonna leave it, let it be, but you see how that's kind of a weird bottom? And then this area is where all the squash was. I think this is kind of cool. You can see with the Hugelkultur bed, you know, we had logs and then we filled it with compost. But now stuff has been settling in and it's been, you know, decomposing. This was supposed to be a banana pepper. We'd planted a banana pepper here. Obviously, it does not exist. This was celery. This actually is celery, so let me put that back in. So we'll make some room for some new tomatoes. You guys, you might remember that Don found out that his family on his mother's side has a tomato named after them. It's called the Hayslip, and it's a determinate tomato. I just think that's really cool. Like, I don't even know how you would go about getting a plant named after you. I'd love to learn more about how this happened. But we planted them, and look at these little seedlings. Aren't they beautiful? So I'm thinking this is what we should put in that Hugelkultur bed where the squash was. And since they're determinate, they're not going to grow 18 feet tall like all the other ones we have. The other thing about a determinate tomato is they produce all of the fruit at one time, and then they're done. So these could get in the ground, produce their fruit. When they're done, and maybe we'll save our own seeds and start passing down the Hayslip seeds. I think that's really, really amazing. So that's the Hayslip update. So this is the last bed that we haven't really shown you yet this week, and this bed we found an okra pod at Barnsley Gardens on the ground. It was dried. It appeared that maybe it was going to be put in the trash, and so we took it, and I hope that's okay and Barnsley Garden doesn't come after us. So we took the Barnsley Garden, the one okra pod, and we planted all of the seeds that were in it, and you guys look, we have 5 plants coming out of it. And again, they were initially over there in that back bed that wasn't doing it much, and so I moved them over here, and they're doing great. And I'm really looking forward to having some okra, so we'll keep you posted on this. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you was the dill, because I've let the dill dry out. I mean, this is dill from last year, and so I want you just to see what it really looks like when you have dill seed. Of course, planted some fresh dill so that we can have lots and lots of dill for when we start doing the pickles with the cucumbers when they come in. So thank you for being here with us. It is the beginning of August 2021, if you can believe that. I said to Don, we've been making garden tours for over 7 months now. This is crazy. Thank you to all of you who come back every week and watch. Thank you for subscribing. If you're new here and you enjoyed what we're doing, please think about subscribing. It really helps us out a lot. And we're just really excited about sharing what we're doing. So have a great day, and we will see you next week.